introductions and enter and introduce yourself. Tell me your name, where you're from, what your major is, what type of service you want to perform, and a fun fact about yourself. The reason I'm asking you to do this is two reasons. One, obviously, I want to know who you are and get to know you a little bit. But second of all, I also use this to record attendance for this class. So make sure you do this as soon as you can to make sure that I report you as having attended. Otherwise, you may get into trouble with financial aid or something like that. So first thing you need to do is go over here and introduce yourself. Okay, once you've done that, next thing you should do is look at the course syllabus, which is available under materials. So come up here to materials, come down here to content, and here's all the modules you need. So start here at syllabus, and right here it is. So just click on it, give it a second to load. It's a little slow on this computer. A little slow on this computer. All right, we're waiting. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is the course syllabus. Just make sure you look over it. Here's my information. My name is John Brown. My office is on the Roane County campus in the O'Brien Building, room 220. 2 days a week I'm in Roane County, so you can get me there if you need to stop by and see me. I'm in my office in Roane County from 11 to 2 on Tuesdays and 11 to 1 on Thursdays. On Wednesdays, I'm in the Oak Ridge campus from 10:30 to 3:30. So if you're there, stop by and see me. Also, I'll be traveling out to all the other campuses during the course of the semester, so I'll be happy to meet with you on any of those campuses if need be. Just let me know when is a good time for you, and we can work something out through email. This course, obviously, you probably know, is a 3-hour course objectives. It's designed to give you an opportunity to enrich your college experience by taking part in community projects, applying material to real life settings, things like that. I don't want to go through. I don't want to read this to you. I know you're able to read. I don't want to insult you, but I will come down here to course requirements. Some requirements are you need to complete 40 hours of volunteer service at an approved nonprofit of your choice. We'll talk about that in a minute. There are a few reading assignments. They're usually pretty short. There's one every week. Those are mostly for the discussion boards. We'll talk about that in a moment. Another thing, professional conduct. Obviously, you need to show up to your work sites, volunteer as professionally as you can, do a professional job. You need to keep a journal of your experiences volunteering, and you need to do a reflection project. And like I said, we'll go through each of these individually here in a minute. Okay, textbook. Good news, you do not need a textbook. So you can save yourself some money on there. You don't have to buy any reading materials for this class. Your grades really come down to 4 parts. The first part is the discussion boards. These are 10 points each. You need to complete 10 of them, and they are worth a total of 100 points. Your journal, that is worth 50 points. Your reflection project, this is worth 100 points. And your service, this is worth 250 points. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. All right, there's your grading scale. Basically, 450 points is going to be an A, 400 is a B, 350 is a C, and I'm sure no one's going to do any worse than that. Okay, scrolling on down, plagiarism. It's bad news. Don't do it. Basically, plagiarism's definition is stealing someone else's ideas and passing them off as your own. Don't do that. It'll get you in trouble. If you have any questions about plagiarism, please ask me. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Disability services. If you have a disability and need some reasonable accommodation, please let me know. You'll just need to go through the disability office. I can give you information about that if you need it. Sexual discrimination, harassment. If you've been a victim of sexual discrimination or sexual harassment, by all means, let us know. We take that seriously. We want to deal with it. If you're having trouble logging into this course or anything involving the website, please contact CTAT. Their number is 865-882-4556, or call the help desk at 865-354-3000, extension 4357. Now, the syllabus changes. I can make some changes, probably won't, but I could. But if I do, I will give you a revised syllabus, so you'll be able to see the changes. Learning Center, if you're having help, needing help, say, with reading comprehension or something like that, please contact them. They're more than happy to help you. There's no shame at all in getting help if you need it. Okay, so we've gone over the syllabus. Next thing I want to go over are some of the other course documents. Okay, so come down here to assignments and forms, your next module, and the first one you're going to see is project proposal. Okay, so click on this, give it a second to load. It's really slow. What I need you to do with this is download it, open it up, and you could either print it or just fill it out in here in the Word form. But what I want you to do here is give me your name and then propose what organization you want to volunteer with. So do you want to volunteer with Habitat for Humanity? Do you want to volunteer with Cumberland County Schools? Do you want to volunteer with the Loudon Fire Department? Do you want to volunteer at the Roane County Historical Society? Whatever. Just write that there. Give me its address. Give me your supervisor's name, the person you will be volunteering under, as well as their phone number so I can get in touch with them. Then give me a description of what volunteer duties you'll perform. All right, this is pretty self-explanatory. Next part here is tell me how it's going to enhance your education. Okay, so this is not hard. It may sound a little hard, but just think about it. Pretty much any volunteer work you're going to do involves some kind of skill. Just tell me about that skill that you're going to develop. So if you're volunteering with, say, Historical Society, well, you're learning something about history, so that matters. If you're at a school, then you're learning about education, so that matters too. If you're building houses for Habitat for Humanity, well, that's construction. You know, construction is educational as well. So just make sure you think in those terms, though, so that I'll be able to tell what you're doing. Last part is describe the reflection activity you wish to perform. Okay, and this is kind of open-ended too, so I'm going to go over the guidelines for that. As with the place you volunteer, your reflection assignment has a lot of flexibility as well. You can do pretty much any kind of reflection assignment you want, just so long as there is some work effort involved. Some possibilities include a reflection paper. For this, you would just need to do a 4-page paper reflecting on the service you perform. This is going to be more formal than your journal. Your paper, you need to address these points. How serious is the problem you are addressing? By that I mean, let's say you're volunteering at a soup kitchen. The problem the soup kitchen is dealing with is hunger. How serious of a problem is that in your community? If you're volunteering at a school, the problem is education. How serious of a problem is education in your community? How well educated are the people? So that's what I mean there. Who is most likely to be impacted by the problem? So who's most likely to be impacted by hunger? Well, the poor, of course, the unemployed. So things like that. What's the best way to address it? By that I mean, should it be done through volunteer work? Should it be done at the government level? Should private businesses take the lead in it? What are some methods which are effective based on your experience? How well do you think your organization does at addressing this problem? Do you think it's doing a good job? Why? Is it doing a bad job? Why? How could it be better? Etc., etc. What did you learn? And what have you learned about yourself from your service? So that's one possibility. Another possibility is a research paper. Here you would need to do some academic research into the issue which your service addresses and discuss what the research suggests is the best way to address it. For this, you'll need some academic sources, which you can find through books and journal articles, which are available via JSTOR. If you have trouble, those are available at the library. If you have trouble with that, please, by all means, just let me know, and I'll be happy to give you more specific instructions on that. Another thing you could do is a video documentary. If you're into video, communications, things like that, this might be a fun one for you. Just make a short 10 to 15 minute video documentary of your volunteer service. Give a brief overview of whatever organization you're working with and what its mission is. And conduct interviews with people who volunteer there, and also maybe for people you're serving as well. Make sure, if you do this, though, that they realize that this could be shown publicly. If it's an organization with strict privacy laws, like, say, a hospital, you probably can't do it because, again, privacy laws. Just make sure, though, talk to your supervisor before you start doing a project like this, though, to make sure that you're allowed to do it. Class presentation. We don't have a live class meeting, so what I would need for you to do here is to videotape it. You can use your computer, whatever, webcam, but just videotape yourself giving basically a speech about it, and submit a PowerPoint with several slides which cover what you're dealing with your service. Photography is always good if that's not possible though. Charts, graphs, things like that. Another possibility would be directed readings. If where you're volunteering is something you're really interested in and you want to learn more about it, then just get with me and we can discuss this. But we'll choose 3 books that are related to your problem that with the organization you're volunteering with deals with, and then do 2-page essays for each of the books in which you summarize the book's thesis and findings and explain how accurate or inaccurate you find them to be based on your own service. Another project is a blog. You make frequent postings about your service. I would say 1 every week or so would be a good way to do it. They should generally be at least 2 paragraphs and should be updated at least weekly. Feel free to link to articles and videos and things which deal with your issue, add photographs if it's allowed, but mostly just give me your thoughts and experience volunteering there. You can do this either publicly or privately. You can do a private blog. If you do, just grant me access to it so I can read it too. These are not the only projects you can do. These are just the sort of the most obvious ones. If you have something else in mind that you'd like to do, just let me know. Shoot me an email or give me a call or stop by and see me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. And there's some formatting things there if you do choose to do the video. Okay, so we've covered now your proposal. We've covered possibilities for reflection projects. Let's talk about your journal. All right, your journal is probably going to be the easiest part of your class of your grade. It's worth 50 points, and what I want you to do is keep a journal every time you go to volunteer, but think of your journal more like the way you think of notes that you take in a lecture class. This is just like a rough draft, or just so that you can keep notes which you use later on in the course. So your journal does not need to be professionally formatted or anything like that. It just needs to be good enough that I can read it and understand it. You can keep your journal, you can write it by hand, that's fine, or you can type it, that's also fine. Either way you want to do it. Here's a list of questions I want you to address. I won't read them to you individually. You can read over them for yourself. But just make sure you, when you write your journal entries, you keep these questions in mind. Okay, time log. This is not something I'm going to take up. I don't require you to turn this in. However, I would, for your own protection, I would encourage you to print this out and fill it out. Every time you go to volunteer, just enter the date, time in, time out, and get your supervisor to initial it if you can. You don't have to do this, but this is a really good idea in case, you get to the end of the semester and your supervisor says, I only have you record as working 28 hours, and you think you've worked 40 hours. Well, if you have this, then you can show it to them. So this is like an insurance policy. I would recommend that you fill it out. Although, like I said, I'm not going to take it up. I am going to take this up, though, and this is definitely the most important form of the semester, and that's your student evaluation form. And what I want you to do here is fill out this form, or fill out at least the first part of it, down here to phone number, and then take it to your supervisor and have them fill out the rest. And what they're going to do is they're going to verify the number of hours you volunteered here, and they're going to give you a grade on each of these aspects. And then at the bottom, they are going to sign it and date it, and then either they are going to mail it to me, or you're going to bring it to me and submit it to me. And this is worth half your grade, 250 points out of 500. So it is very, very, very important that I get this at the end of the semester. So by all means, make sure you get this to me. All right. So we've covered the journal. We've covered the volunteer service. We've covered the reflection. One more thing for your grade is your discussion boards. And how they work is this. Each week, you're going to be given an assignment to read, which you click on the link and it opens up for you. You'll read over this, and then you will do a posting on the board replying to this question that I asked. So for the first one, after reading what is a nonprofit organization, answer the following. What qualifies as an organization to claim nonprofit status? Do you feel some nonprofit organizations are more worthy of this privilege than others? Why or why not? All right, those are pretty clear. If you've read the article I'll link to, you shouldn't have any trouble answering that. Second part is you need to post a response to one of your classmates' postings. And this needs to not simply be I agree completely or I disagree completely. If you agree, give a reason why you agree that's not in the poster's original post. If you disagree, give me a reason why you disagree. So give me something substantive there. Okay, so that's how your grade is determined. At the end of the semester, when you start turning things in, there's a few ways you can do it. One is you can turn it into me in person. This is obviously easier if you're in Harriman or Oak Ridge. If you're at one of the off-campus sites, I may make it up there at the end of the semester. You may be able to turn it into me then, but I can't. I probably won't be able to make it to all 6 of them the last week of the course. So another way to turn it in is to send it through the courier. I can give you information on that if you need it. But the best way, the way I would recommend to do, is turn it in through Dropbox. So come up here to Assessments, come down to Dropbox, and there you go. There's a folder for everything. Your journal, I said you could do it by hand. If you type it, you can, obviously it's easier to upload it. If you do it by hand, you can scan it and submit it that way. Or you can send it to me through the courier. That's fine too. But just make sure you get all this stuff to me by April 25th. Will I take work later than that? Yes, there's a late work folder just for that. But I want you to get it to me by the 25th because, especially if it's coming through the mail, it may take, or through the courier, it may take a few days. So get it into me as soon as you can. All right, this is the part where I would ask if you have any questions. Obviously can't, but I'm going to create a discussion board where you can post your questions and I will answer them for you. Oh, one more thing. Just remember. So some of you probably have some idea of where you want to volunteer. Some of you may have no clue at all. And that's perfectly fine. What I have here for you is a list of possible places to volunteer. So come to Materials, come to Content, and come down here to Service Opportunities, which is in the module Assignments and Forms. So click on this, and right here is a list of places which have reached out to me, which have stated they are interested in having volunteers from Roane State. And 9 counties you can choose from. So every county in our service area is represented here. So let's say you're in Roane County, just click here, comes down here. Here's some possible places. Amadeus Hospice, it says Sweetwater, but they have some offices in Roane County too. Caris Healthcare, CASA, the 9th Judicial District, which stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates who work with children in the judicial system. So if you're going into law or social work, or maybe education, this would be a good one for you. Children's Reading Foundation of the Tennessee Valley, good one for education majors, obviously. Education Matters, we're the same type of thing. Habitat for Humanity, if you're good with your hands, good with construction, this is a good one for you. If you're not, this may still be a good one for you because they have a lot of needs which don't involve building houses. They need administrative volunteers to help with events, organizing events. Lots of organizations need social media people or people who are good with computers. So just because something doesn't jump out at you right away doesn't necessarily mean they don't have something for you. Hands of Mercy, this is a food bank in Kingston, which is a good organization too. Mideast Community Action, it's a good one. So there's Roane County. But like I said, there's some for every county. Some of them have fewer than others. Not going to lie. I mean, some of the counties just have more people than others. But this is a place to start. You just need to come to this page and look over this and find something that appeals to you. This is not an exhaustive list. Just because an organization is on here does not mean you can't do it. This is just a starting point for you, particularly if you don't have any idea what you want to do. If you have trouble finding somewhere to volunteer, let me know. I can try to help you with that. I want you to take the lead on this yourself because I want you to hook up with something which will benefit you. And honestly, you're going to know what's going to benefit you a lot more than I will. I'm here is in a supportive role, though. If you have trouble finding something, let me know. Also, if you do contact any organizations on this list and they don't get back to you, or you go volunteer there and you think they're unprofessional or something like that, please let me know. I want to know this. I mean, I haven't volunteered with the vast majority of these organizations, so I don't have firsthand experience, but I want to hear from you. I don't want to send students somewhere where they're unprofessional or whatever. So just let me know. One question a lot of students have is, do I have to do this volunteer at the same place the whole 40 hours? And the answer is no, you do not. If you go volunteer somewhere for 5 hours and decide you don't like it or whatever, you can switch. That's no problem at all. All you need to do is just fill out another proposal for me and send it to me. And you can do that anytime during the semester. I mean, you could theoretically volunteer at 10 organizations for 4 hours each. You can do as many as you want. Just let me know, though, and just turn in a proposal for me, and wait till I approve it. And once I do, you're free to volunteer there. So this proposal you fill out right now, this is not locking you into anything for the whole semester, but it's just a starting point. And like I said, if you decide you want to go somewhere else, just fill out another proposal, get it to me. Shouldn't be a problem.